Welcome to Sports Live Media on YouTube. It's your guy, Sports Live. Today, we will be going over which NFL games will be played in Week 3. They don't do rankings on the NFL football teams, so we're going to cover each game. I will go over what the pros say the point spread is or margin of victory is. I will then go over whether or not I agree with the pros. I will do the best I can to explain my reasoning on why I agree or disagree with the pros. Week 3 for the NFL is based on the time frame September 18th through 24th of 2024. I apologize for being late to the stream. I was talking with someone about something related to what we're talking about today, and yeah. So anyway, with the exception of there's one game on September 19th, which is a Thursday game. There'll be 13 regular games on September 22nd of 2024, which is on Sunday, and then there'll be 2 Monday Night Football games on the 23rd of September. So let's get started with this. For the game, New England versus the New York Jets, that will be the September 19th game. The pros favor New York Jets to win the game by 6.5 or 7 points by the pros. The over-under is 37.5 or 38 points. Both of these teams could easily win the game and are evenly matched with how their offensive line looks. Defensively, New York Jets protect the line better. I agree with the pros on this game. New York Jets will win the game by 7. Next game, sorry about that. I will go over the 38. Let's shift to the 2 Monday night games, which take place September 23rd of 2024. First will be Jacksonville versus Buffalo. The pros favor Buffalo to win the game by 6. The over-under in this game is 46.5 or 47 points. Jacksonville has been terrible on offense, not scoring a lot, and they do have somewhat decent defense, so we'll see how that goes. Buffalo has struggled both offense and defensively, but is actually consistent in how they play. This game should be close as well. I agree with the pros on having Buffalo to win, but I disagree on the margin of victory. So with that, Buffalo wins the game by 3. I'll go under the 47. Sorry. The other Monday Night Football game is Washington versus Cincinnati. This game will be played September 23rd, 2024. The pros favor Cincinnati to win the game by 7.5 or 8 points. The over-under is 47.5 or 48. Cincinnati has a great quarterback that can do mighty things. Defensively, they look decent. Washington is not known for scoring touchdowns. I find it to be difficult to win for Washington. Washington is good at driving the ball down the field, but then terrible when it gets in the red zone. Last game, almost every time they got into the red zone, they could not score touchdowns. Washington does have good field goal kicker, but that by itself will not help at all. Fix the red zone issues, score touchdowns. If not, this game will be a runaway. Field goals are to win games late when score is close, not to be used as primary scoring method. Washington seems to think it will work. It will not work in this game. I agree with the pros. Cincinnati wins this game by 8, and I will go under the 48. Next, all of the rest of the games will be scheduled to take place on September 22nd, 2024, which is Sunday games. So let's look at those games now. The New York Giants versus Cleveland. The pros favor Cleveland to win by 6.5 or 7 points. The over-under is 38.5 or 39. Cleveland rocks in that they play reasonably good offense in up-tempo kind of way. Defensively, they do have issues that need to be fixed. New York Giants is below par both on offense and defense. For these reasons, I agree with the pros on this game, with Cleveland winning the game by 7. I will go over the 39. Next game is Green Bay versus Tennessee. Tennessee has talented players who play on both sides of the ball. Green Bay is having a hard time getting back to the glory days for when Brett Favre was quarterback. The struggle for Green Bay continues in this one. The pros favor Tennessee to win by 2.5 or 3 points. The over-under is 36.5 or 37. For the reasons I mentioned previously for both teams, I agree with the pros on this game. Tennessee wins by 3 points. I will go over the 37. Next game to look at today is going to be Chicago versus Indianapolis. The pros favor Indianapolis to win by 1.5 or 2 points. Both teams are equally matched. Chicago has a history of not doing well on the road. Indianapolis does good at home, but games are usually too close for comfort with that. With these thoughts, I disagree with the pros on who they will win, who they think will win this one. Chicago will win as underdogs by 2 is my prediction. The over-under is 44.5 or 45. I will go under the 45. Next game that we're going to look at is Houston versus Minnesota. The pros favor Houston to win the game by 1.5 or 2 points. The over-under is 46.5 or 47. Houston has a strong defense that is helpful since they know how to use it to their advantage. Minnesota gets away from the colder climate but has to acclimate to the heat. Minnesota is not dealing with weather with regards to heat. The heat is how hot Houston is. Houston will be too hot to handle for Minnesota. I agree with the pros on this one. Houston wins the game by 2. I will go under the 47. Next game, this is English. This is being broadcast in English, and I thank you, Lisa, and I thank you, Connor, for joining into this NFL sports broadcast on Sports Live Media, which I am broadcasting live from the Veterans Memorial Park in Huntsville, Alabama. All right, so the next game we're going to look at is going to be, let's see. Next game to look at is Philadelphia versus New Orleans. The pros favor Philadelphia to win this game by 2.5 or 3 points. The over-under is 48.5 or 49. Philadelphia does have a good quarterback leadership in Jalen Hurts. He will usually get things done. The problem is New Orleans. They have been putting large amounts of points on the scoreboard and dominating their opponents. Hurts will slow New Orleans down a little, but not completely. For these reasons, I disagree with the pros on this one. New Orleans wins the game as underdogs by 9 over Philadelphia, and I'm going over the 49. Main reason for this is the example of this is Dallas this past week was expected to give New Orleans a run for their money in the game that they played, and New Orleans practically embarrassed Dallas by winning by the large margin that they did. And I think that style of play is going to continue for New Orleans. Jalen Hurts and the Philadelphia Eagles do have the tush push that can be used to their advantage, but that can only be used so much before the other team figures out what's going on. And this is going to be the same case in this game. And I still stand by my original prediction of New Orleans winning by 9 as underdogs in this game. I'm going to go over the 49. Next game that we're going to look at today in the NFL world is the Los Angeles Chargers versus Pittsburgh. The pros favor Pittsburgh to win by 2.5 or 3 points over Los Angeles Chargers. Both teams on paper look evenly matched. Because of this, because their style of offense, their play is very similar. I think this game will come down to who has the ball toward the very end of the game. I agree with the pros on this one. Pittsburgh will win the game by 3. The over-under is 35.5 or 36, and I'm going to go under the 36. I don't think both teams are going to score a lot of points. Next game that's going to be played is Denver versus Tampa Bay. Tampa Bay has struggled offensively to get things going, whereas Denver has struggled in defense. This will continue as a trend in this game. The pros favor Tampa Bay to win by 7. I agree with pros on this since, besides what I already mentioned, it will be played in the hostile environment down in Tampa Bay. The over-under is 39.5 or 40. I will go under the 40, and I agree with the pros picking Tampa Bay to win by 7. The next game to look at is Carolina versus Las Vegas. The pros favor Las Vegas to win by 7 over Carolina. The over-under is 37.5 or 38. Both teams are good in special teams, but not much else. They both play sloppy offense, but has decent defense. I think due to this, it will be a closer game than pros indicate in their prediction for their margin of victory. I agree having Las Vegas to win, but I disagree on the margin of victory as I stated just a couple seconds earlier. Las Vegas will win this game by 2 points, and I will go under the 38. I believe both teams will not score a lot of points. Next game we're going to look at today is Miami versus Seattle. The pros favor Seattle to win by 6 over Miami. Seattle has patience, which most football teams need but don't have. Miami is having trouble keeping main quarterback healthy. Because of the trouble Miami is having, I will agree with the pros in favoring Seattle to win by 6. I would say higher, but Miami is that annoying pest that won't leave you alone. For this reason, I stand by my prediction. The over-under is 41.5 or 42, and I'll go under the 42. Next game we're going to look at today is Baltimore versus Dallas. The pros favor Baltimore to win by 0.5 or 1 point. Normally that means too close to call. I think Dallas is having a major struggle, is having major struggle issues. Then also they do not have any communication on what is going on. The quarterback is inefficient and needs to be replaced by the team, so next man up. Then they need to change everything else on the offense line. And to put it simply, and I'm not trying to knock any team or anybody when I say this, but right now, Dallas, the football team for the NFL, they downright suck. I'm hoping that gets better as the season goes on. I do agree with pros having Baltimore winning the game, but I disagree on the margin of victory. Baltimore plays good football, Dallas not so much. My pick is that Baltimore will win the game by 9. Yes, you heard that right. The over-under is 47.5 or 48, and I will go over the 48. Next game we're going to look at today for this upcoming week of football games in the NFL will be San Francisco versus the Los Angeles Rams. The pros favor San Francisco to win by 7.5 or 8 points. I think this is spot on due to talent and play-making ability for San Francisco. They have a unique way of opening up holes in the defense while in the middle of a play. They also do good making something out of what normally is considered nothing. The Los Angeles Rams have one good thing going for them. They are good at stopping run plays. San Francisco is good running or passing. Los Angeles Rams not so good at passing. For these reasons, I agree with the pros. San Francisco will win the game by 8. The over-under is 45.5 or 46 points, and I will go over the 46. I do believe both teams will score points and probably do it efficiently. Next game we're going to look at is Detroit versus Arizona. In this game, Detroit is favored to win by 3. The over-under is 52.5 or 53. Arizona tends to do better at home than most teams. Detroit has flat offense and weak defense. Arizona will not win this game. I agree with the pros for this reasoning. Detroit will win the game by 3, and I'll go under the 53. Next game that we'll look at from the NFL will be Kansas City versus Atlanta. I know everyone's looking to see how Kansas City's going to do, so maybe we can figure that out together. The pros favor Kansas City to win by 5 over Atlanta. The over-under is 46.5 or 47. Atlanta is in tough conference in general. Then they have to play teams like Kansas City. Kansas City is the more talented team between the two. Atlanta will give Kansas City a run for their money, but it will not be enough to get them to win. I agree with the pros on this one. Kansas City will win the game by 5. I will go over the 42. But that is all of the NFL football games that is going to be played this week for week 3. So let's recap on who exactly will be playing in week 3 for the NFL. New England versus the New York Jets. The New York Giants versus Cleveland. Green Bay versus Tennessee. Chicago versus Indianapolis, Houston versus Minnesota, Philadelphia versus New Orleans, Los Angeles Chargers versus Pittsburgh, Denver versus Tampa Bay, Carolina versus Las Vegas, Miami versus Seattle, Baltimore versus Dallas, San Francisco versus the Los Angeles Rams, Detroit versus Arizona, Kansas City versus Atlanta, Jacksonville versus Buffalo, and Washington versus Cincinnati. Yes, so you're saying the Raiders are going to do well in this game? Is that what I'm assuming by your comment when you said the Raiders? I'm assuming you like the Raiders. Am I correct? Well, based on what I had mentioned from that game, what are your thoughts on the Raiders game? I mentioned my thoughts, and I'm curious to hear. I'm curious to see yours. So, what are your thoughts? Do you think the Raiders are going to win the game this week? If any of you would like to comment, I'd love to see and hear your thoughts regarding what my thoughts were for these picks that I just did for the NFL games. I do thank each and every one of you for coming on this live stream today. I'm Sports Live Media. I am broadcasting live on location at the Veterans Memorial Park in Huntsville, Alabama, and I just went over the NFL games and my picks and what I thought that was going to happen. The pros mentioned their point spread with their margin of victory, and I went over that, and then I went over my thoughts relating to that, whether I agree or disagree, and then I tried to explain that. I will be doing these NFL live streams generally Monday through Wednesday on the said week of the games in question, and I will be covering for sure. I know I'll be doing all of the games in the NFL through week 18. After that, it will be depending on what's left with the playoffs and whatnot. So I will be doing regular NFL coverage in this format like you're hearing right now. Sometimes I'll be here at this park, and other times I may be at other locations. But again, those live streams will take place sometime on the week in question for the football games, Monday through Wednesday. Wednesday at the absolute latest. I'm not sure exactly what time I'll be doing these live streams each of those days, because it may vary depending on what else might be going on at the time. So, does anybody else have any comments they'd like to share? Well, anyway, thank you, Lisa. Thank you, Connor the Destroyer. Thank you, R&R Ray 775. I do appreciate each of you and everyone else that joined me today for this live broadcast. If there's no other questions or comments, I'll give you a minute to see if there is any. Or a moment. Not really necessarily a minute, but a moment. Anyway, since there's no other comments or questions, thank you again for tuning into this live stream. I do hope that your day will be good as a result of hearing this. If you will, please take the time to hit the like button. Please hit the subscribe button. Please hit the notification bell so you can be made aware of when I'm doing these live streams relating to the NFL, when I have live streams regarding other sports, when I have sports education videos, when I have sports action videos, when I broadcast live as you're hearing me do so now, when I have breaking news in the sports world, or when anything else in the sports world comes up that needs to be mentioned. I thank each and every one of you, and I hope all of you have a wonderful rest of your afternoon. Until next week when we do this again, thanks.